Pope John Paul II, Apostle of the New Era. He survived Nazi occupation. He stood against the power of the Soviet Union without raising a weapon. And he traveled more than any pope in history, spreading the gospel to the ends of the earth. Pope John Paul II was called the Apostle of the New Era for a reason. He wasn't just a leader of the Catholic Church. He was a voice of courage, hope, and faith in a century marked by wars, dictatorships, and moral confusion. But what made this man so powerful was not political influence or wealth. It was the depth of his prayer, the strength of his convictions, and his unshakable belief that every person was created in the image of God. Karol Józef Wojtyła was born in 1920 in Wadowice, Poland. By the time he was 21, he had lost his entire immediate family, his mother, father, and only brother. During the Nazi occupation of Poland, he studied in secret to become a priest while working in a quarry to avoid deportation. Ordained in 1946, he quickly became known for his deep intellect and his pastoral heart. As a young priest, he hiked, kayaked, and skied with young people, teaching them about Christ in ways that were personal and joyful. In 1978, at the age of 58, he was elected Pope, the first non-Italian Pope in more than 450 years. From the moment he stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, his presence was magnetic. His first words to the world were, "Do not be afraid, open wide the doors for Christ." And he lived that call every day of his pontificate. John Paul II became the most travelled pope in history, visiting 129 countries and logging over 700,000 miles. He didn't just wait for the world to come to Rome, he went to the world. Whether standing before millions of young people at World Youth Day, kneeling in prayer at the Western Wall in Jerusalem, or embracing the poor in the slums, his message was clear. Christ belongs to every nation, and every person belongs to Christ. John Paul II's influence was not accidental, it was intentional. 1. He believed in the power of presence. In a time when the church could have been seen as distant, he made himself visible. He met people where they were, literally. 2. He championed the dignity of every human life. From the unborn to the elderly, from political prisoners to refugees, he spoke with the same conviction. Every life is sacred because it is made in God's image. 3. He confronted fear with faith. In communist Poland, his visit in 1979 sparked a spiritual revolution. Millions heard him say, "Do not be afraid." Those words emboldened an entire nation to reclaim its freedom, and historians say it helped spark the fall of communism in Eastern Europe. 4. He lived what he preached. Even after being shot in 1981 in St. Peter's Square, he forgave his would-be assassin. This was not weakness, it was the radical strength of the gospel in action. We live in a world that can feel just as divided, fearful, and morally confused as the one John Paul II faced. It's easy to feel small in the face of global problems. But John Paul II reminds us, the mission of the Church is not to retreat into safety. It is to go out, to proclaim Christ boldly, and to love without compromise. He didn't wait for the perfect time to make a difference. He acted in the moment, trusting that God would work through his efforts. That is why he is called the Apostle of the New Era, because he modeled how to bring the timeless gospel into the modern world. Pope John Paul II's life is a challenge to each of us. We may not travel across continents or speak to millions, but we can be apostles in our own time, in our own families, schools, and workplaces. Ask yourself, Where is Christ asking me to open wide the doors? Where am I letting fear keep me from sharing my faith? Remember his words. Do not be afraid. Christ knows what is in your heart, and he loves you. So go out today, be present, defend the dignity of every life. Live the gospel without fear, because the world is still waiting for apostles, and the next one could be you.